Open a brandy, will you?
I'll say, Hancock, I do love the way you choose to start the night.
Oh, please, anything to make me forget that run of the show. Oh,
To say, where are the girls? I thought they left before us.
they took a different way. At this time of night, they're probably stuck behind a wave of traffic. Either that or dead in some alley. So, are you going to ask me why I didn't like this run of the show?
I would have mentioned it. It's you prodded me to.
Well, go on.
Go on what?
Ask me why I didn't like the show.
Why didn't you like the show?
Because that damn director never understood a sentence of my work. Ever since I knew him, ever since university, he's tried to be my personal editor for years now. Thought I'd do him a favor with this show. Never again. Say, didn't old Bernie help you along your acting career?
I wouldn't say helped. I was in a good place before getting introduced to him.
You must have known him about as long as me then.
I guess I would. Yeah. So, this second performance didn't do you any favors?
I wish I'd never seen it.
I see. I suppose I prefer opening nights. Why didn't you go to opening night?
I guess I think it's bad luck for a playwright to see his own show on opening night.
Well, clearly seeing it a day later didn't work out well for you either.
Why that tone with me, George? I never said anything about you or anyone else's performances.
I know. That worries me a bit.
It was fine. American theater is cute. I think there's a certain spunk that isn't quite replicated in British theater, though I do prefer how my work is done across the pond.
I bet you do.
You were fine, George. I believe and admit you were one of the better parts.
Better parts?
What? You want me to lie through my teeth and pretend that I enjoyed it? I wrote that part for a different type of actor. You did your best of the material. It was less of you and more of Bernie. I mean, was he not going to cast his best friend in the leading role of a Colson Hancock play?
I have a question for you. One that came from my own head this time.
Tell me.
A large part of acting is to work behind the scenes, getting intimate with the character.
I'm aware.
Damn, you're snippy. At least let me finish my thought first. It's just that. I don't get my character.
What?
I don't get him. Why is it that he forgives his lover for taking his child? Listen, he gets back with Jessica at the very end. But we all know we should leave her. I know that. The director knows that. The audience knows that. Do you not know that?
I wrote the damn thing. Of course I know.
Then tell me.
The whole play he's searching for answers. John needs to find his son, all while falling for the yes, it's all basic noir tropes. I mean, I never told the audience the decision he makes is the correct one.
Don't you think it kind of cheapens the ending?
Not in the slightest. It gives the crowd something unexpected.
Bad news is unexpected. Doesn't mean it's genius.
I knew you weren't right for that role. Oh, please. Don't get all offended by that. Besides, why pick a fight with me, of all people? The critics will probably eat it up how they always do.
Have you not read this morning's paper?
No? Why? Colson Hancock's newest play, while featuring the playwright's greatest strengths, comes off as kitsch in the final product. Marking a career of similar beats and evolving theses. Why are you laughing? You're involved with this too!
Oh, sure. But right now, I'm laughing because you're angry.
So you had this in your pocket the whole time?
It was waiting for its dramatic entrance.
Oh, that traffic will be the death of me. I swore it once and I'll swear it again.
And Margaret, look at what they're saying about my work!
Oh, honestly, dear, you didn't know? I don't see why I should care. I like to look at myself as a tenured performer these days. Nothing can ruin my legacy.
Well, mine's getting stepped on, so I think you should care.
I haven't heard the paper. What did they say?
Oh, please, Faye, don't get him started.
Apparently, I've become kitsch. If ever there was a word to describe the death of an artist, not even death in the literal sense can stop it, but that word has signed my warrant. In layman's terms, I'm ruined.
Oh, goodness, George. How much has he had to drink already?
More than usual. Say, is Bernie making it tonight? Surely one of us remembered to invite him, right?
Can't say I did.
Doesn't that just make me feel foolish?
Shame. I hope he's not looking for one of us.
Oh, he's probably out there getting more drunk than we are. I wouldn't start to pity him.
Yes. You know all about neglecting and pity your former husband, now wouldn't you?
Oh, save that for a more suitable environment. Don't let me make you think I'm offended, but with others in attendance, you should know better.
You're right as ever. My apologies.
You know, I wish Bernie was here. I have a few things I want to say to him about my show.
I bet you do.
I'm told I shouldn't pity him, but I can't help but think how nice he's been to me these past few months. Took me up and started me off, just like you, Mr. Rotunno. He wanted me to go by a different stage name. Maggie. I didn't take it, though. It would feel improper acting alongside the likes of you.
Yes, I suppose that would be very improper.
All this talk about Bernie started me off. Did he start that rumor? I was telling Hancock about this before you all arrived. I was already an established performer. And, forget it.
It does seem like something he would do.
Hey, I don't like being the only one slightly drunk here.
Slightly.
If you people don't pick up some glasses, I'll go find Bernie. Whatever pub, booze house, so what's it called he's at.
Hancock, you're the most tragic Pulitzer Prize winner I've ever met.
Thank you, George. Tragedy is a marking of a true writer.
Oh, I don't drink.
Well, if I didn't know any better, I'd say you drink to feel more flawed and self-important.
Listen to yourselves. We came here to celebrate, right? Not to bicker and argue. Whose apartment are we in right now? It's really lovely.
I suppose this is one of mine? Oh, yes. This is one of mine. It is hard to keep track of how many apartments I
It's a
own.
mighty beautiful gun, Miss Cromwell.
Oh, it's merely decorative. It was a gift from Bernie, a previous show we did together.
Aw, I didn't think you were so sentimental.
I'm not. I just like the gun. It makes me feel powerful. I'd recommend one, Mr. Rotunno. Not to Colson, though. He'd try to kill himself with it.
Haha. Do you have a radio?
It's probably somewhere around here.
Here it is. Mr. Hancock has the right idea. Party needs music. What station should I turn it to?
The news. I want to hear what they're saying about my show.
Give it a rest,
I
Hancock.
don't know if that's such a good idea.
Let me indulge, will you?
Did you happen to bring anything stronger than booze with you tonight?
Mr. Rotunno, I quit a long time ago.
Margaret, we both know that's a lie.
We appreciate our listeners standing by as we receive more coverage on this recent murder. For those who have just tuned in, acclaimed Broadway director Bernard Morrison, whose newest play just opened yesterday, was found dead backstage by authorities after a cryptic emergency call placed at 10:15 p.m. It was just one word: poisoned. No leads have been determined as of now, but it is safe to say foul play is involved.
Turn it up! Turn it up!
Wait, I want to hear more.
Damn it, Hancock, you heard the girl! Turn the radio off!
On the 16th,
Who would do such a thing on Bernie? I absolutely can't fathom it. Margaret?
Well, in all my years, I can't be too surprised.
What the hell does that mean?
Bernard made his share of enemies. Any one of them could have knocked him off. As his former spouse, I do think that I am permitted to say that.
You're not even permitted to have his name in your mouth.
George Rotunno, I don't know what information was likely fed to you by my ex-husband over the contents of our marriage, but I assure you I loved him to the very end of it. If you were to be mad at anyone, be mad at Mr. Hancock, whose blind impatience ruined a perfectly good night.
Perfectly good? You two are picking each other apart like vultures.
Oh, don't act too saintly, Mr. Hancock.
Oh, no one told you to talk.
Quiet! How many people were at the theater at 10:15?
I suppose it was just us four, but you aren't really saying.
What other option is there?
So what? It was one of us?
Let's not jump to that conclusion. After all, Miss Cromwell said Bernie had a lot of enemies. Someone could have slipped into the theater and done him off. It doesn't have to be one of us. What about the mob?
No, if it were the mob that would have killed him, it wouldn't be through poison. They also would have stayed to make sure he was dead. The mob doesn't kill high-profile people discreetly. Remember Roger Forrest?
Found bloody in an alley off the way of the brothel.
Out in the open. Perfectly staged. No room for error. That's what would have happened if it were the mob.
So you're suggesting whoever did this is a novice?
More like a downright idiot.
I still can't believe one of us might have done it.
Why not? Sure, all of you have your reasons.
And what exactly are you implying? Who made you the judge, jury, and executioner? Just because you were his best friend does not mean that you're innocent.
I suppose. But an ex-wife does fit the bill a bit better.
If this is your attempt at intimidating me, Mr. Rotunno, you are sorely mistaken.
I'm just trying to pin down a possible motive for each of us. You resented him, didn't you?
I was madly in love, if that's what you mean. Blindly, I can't say, but he loved himself more.
And so you couldn't stand to see him move on, could you?
This is wildly inappropriate.
Wait, no, it couldn't have been Margaret. It's way too obvious.
Give it a break. You didn't write the damn thing.
Didn't I? I mean, a director winds up dead, and the primary suspects are the three people he knew most, all gathered into one room.
It's a game to you, then. You don't care that a good man died.
I wouldn't call him a good man as much as just a man.
Well, he was good to me.
Oh, yes, I wonder why.
That was a good one, Margaret. Cheers.
You don't suppose I did anything with him, Miss Cromwell?
He was fond of you.
Goodness! I wasn't raised to consider anything of the sort. I was raised to be a lady.
Oh, please, you were born in Georgia.
Okay, then. If you'll excuse me, I will be in the kitchen. I hope no one attempts to permit my exit.
Well, someone's got to get this sorted out. The sooner we can go to finding the killer, the sooner I can go back to drinking responsibly.
I don't get these high-class kitchens. Everything's all fancy and white. How are you supposed to bake when the color of the flour matches the counter? If I ever get rich like Miss Cromwell, I won't spend it all in a shiny new kitchen. My mama's kitchen was just fine. Better, even. It was one of those classic ones. Just the right shade of brown. It was a place of love. She raised me on that love. She didn't raise me to be a whore.
No, I don't think she did. What's the issue with being a whore, as you call it? I mean, are you both not consenting adults?
It's the implication. We all know Bernie was a very powerful man, much more powerful than me. Miss Cromwell thinks I slept with him because I wanted the role. I didn't.
Sleep with him in general, or sleep with him to get the role?
Both.
I thought so.
Then why didn't you defend me back there?
Call it a personal vendetta.
You're a disgusting man.
Oh, better than Bernie Morrison, I hope.
Sooner or later, you need to draw the line between this performance and the truth. Bernie isn't alive anymore, or have you waiting on him hand and foot?
I never waited on him.
Oh, please. You would have made a better defense than the lawyer he hired for the divorce. Because you are a completely codependent sheep.
Watch it.
Oh, you're so vague, too. Have an opinion that's your own and grab on this fascination with Bernie. If I didn't know any better, I'd say you were in love with him.
I said watch it!
You're bleeding. Don't just get it over my carpet. There's a cloth in the far left drawer. Please try to use a less expensive one.
If you did this, you need to admit it.
Fortunately, I can't admit to something I never did. That'd make a very convoluted story for the police. I'm sure as a writer you can come up with a better one.
Quick. Which one looks more expensive?
I don't know, George. The left one? I've noticed a funny thing about you, Faye. You're so proper with everyone's surnames until Bernie. Miss Cromwell, Mr. Rotunno, Mr. Hancock. Bernie.
Maybe he doesn't need to be addressed so formally.
Because he's your friend or because you don't respect him, huh? There are layers to you, Faye. Deeper implications. I like it. I'll get what I want. I sure as hell know I didn't kill Bernie. So I just need to figure out which one of you did.
Why are you so preoccupied with this? We all know you never liked birds.
Precisely. I'm the primary suspect, and the one who you all will gang up on eventually. I'll protect you if you help me pin it on George.
What if he didn't do it?
Call it another personal vendetta.
Why are you telling me this?
I just so happen to know you're proper with keeping secrets. I trust you won't tell.
I could scream for help right now. Someone could walk in.
You're scared. You don't have to be.
That's it. I won't stay in this madhouse anymore. If you three want to rip each other's heads off, then be my guest. But but I don't want any part of it. I'm leaving.
That might not be the best idea.
I thought you said it was decorative.
Yes, and so was your Pulitzer Prize. Sit down, Faye.
Is that thing loaded?
I'm an American, aren't I? Now that I have everyone's attention, I would like to figure out who murdered my ex-husband. I'll start with you. What was your relationship with Bernard?
He was my mentor. He was like a father to me.
Did you love him?
Oh, I didn't.
Did he love you?
Ma'am.
Did he love you?
I don't know!
What does that mean?
All I'm telling is the truth, Miss Cromwell. Isn't that what you want to hear?
What she wants to hear is confession. She's just going the wrong way about it.
Oh, I can spill my secrets, so watch your mouth.
As could I.
All right, I think it's time to start questioning somebody else.
So big talk for someone without the gun.
I wasn't talking about you, Margaret. George. You were friends with Bernie for a while, were you not?
Oh, closer than friends. They were best friends.
Oh, how sweet. But I want to hear this one from his own mind this time. Bernie was the reason you got your start on Broadway, was it not?
I told you, I was already an established.
Oh yeah, just as established as he was when he married Margaret. Oh please. The gap in your ages was longer than the marriage itself. Have you really not wondered if he seduced you to get his start on Broadway? So I'm just wondering if George is using him in a similar way.
What evidence do you have for that? Spoon feed it to me, you pretentious ass!
You're a performer. Who was the first one to start pointing fingers? You. You've become scared of your own irrelevance. You're surrounded by the revival of a great actress and the blossoming career of a new one. After a while, George, he starts paying less attention to you. How do you compete with being forgotten? By creating a media frenzy of epic proportions. They always take the men's side. You'd have no problem dodging the responsibility.
This is crazy. I guess we're supposed to forget your drunken rant that started tonight. The one where you cursed Bernie for ruining your art. A drunk man's words are a sober man's thoughts. You practically let it slip from the very beginning.
It's 2 against 1. Right, Faye?
Don't rope her into this. She doesn't know half what's going on.
She knows the truth when she hears it. As will this whole country when the papers are printed holding you accountable for the murder.
Hey, you know it can't be me.
Stop! Leave me alone!
It has to be him.
Oh, it could be any one of us. Just because you told me to pin it on Mr. Rotunno doesn't make him any more guilty than the rest of us.
No, she's lying. It's a hysteria from the stress. Faye, I think you need to go lie down.
Trying to pin it?
I never said that. She probably mistook my meaning when saying that we needed to interrogate you. There's no crime in interrogation, is there?
But if you haven't guessed already, there's one in murder.
Faye, tell him what I said is the truth.
Stop trying to control me. I'm not your servant. I'm not your friend, and I'm certainly not your whore.
Faye, what are you talking about? Faye!
Yes, what are you talking about?
Nothing too serious, I imagine. At least not to me.
It's a hysteria from the stress, I tell you.
Miss Aldrin, do you know anything to help us close this case?
Not for this case. But it'll let you know the type of person Mr. Hancock is.
Hancock, you can admit it now and save her the trouble. It probably saved you some too.
I don't know what she's talking about. You think just because you're favored by critics that you can intrude into this business with your own agenda? Say whatever you want, Faye. We all know where you lie in the pecking order.
I know you're usually the storyteller, but do you mind if I take it from here? I was in the middle of getting my costume together. It was dress week, and a full run of show was about to be put on. I was all the way down to my corset when Mr. Hancock walked in, smelling violently intoxicated. At first, he was just pestering me, but then he took advantage of me.
You mean?
What do you think it means, Mr. Rotunno?
Colson Hancock is nothing more than a drunken assaulter.
Well, this is just the biggest pile of bullshit.
Stable freak, Hancock.
Stop it, George. You're flattering me.
You pig!
You liar! Who is going to believe you?
Sounds like I am right now.
No, sure you are. It probably guarantees you a way to her bedroom.
You're disgusting.
I'm disgusting. You know what, George? I apologize about what I said earlier. I don't know what came over me. You're not doing this to get into Faye's bedroom. Nothing you have ever done has been to get into any woman's bedroom. So that just begs the question. What is all this for? Maybe. Just maybe. I'm not the most broken one here. No. At least I'm not in love with someone as hopeless as Bernie Morrison. Stop it! It all started back then, didn't it? Those long, Bacchus-driven nights filled with all the things you love. Drinking, partying, sodomy. Ugh. Maybe you didn't kill him because he was moving on from your career. No. Maybe you killed him because he was finally moving on from you.
And that's quite enough out of both of you! Oh, I'm glad we got that out of our system. How long had this been going on, Mr. Rotunno?
Are we really going to believe what he has to say? We all know what he's guilty of.
How long?
A long time.
A long time? It still doesn't get me closer to finding out who murdered him!
There doesn't seem to be a use to it, does there? We all have our biases towards each other, do we not? But don't rope me into the likes of you all. I'm justified in my hatred for Mr. Hancock.
Oh, please, Miss Aldrin. If you can't handle something as small as that, then you're no fit for the life of theater.
In all my days, I looked up to you. You were my idol.
I liked you just as much as I liked my cheap cloth, which you neglected to use after I specifically asked you to. I would have rather you use the cheap one.
I would have rather this whole thing never happened.
Stop feeling sorry for yourself. It was bound to come out eventually.
I don't need that from you.
Oh, frankly, George, and pardon my rudeness, I think you deserve every word of it. Both of you boys barking at each other like dogs. Don't forget, this is my house. I don't like violence in it. I expect an apology.
What do you get an apology for? I'm sorry your husband didn't love you.
Hancock, I'm warning you.
You know what? You know what? I am sorry. I'm sorry your husband never had an ounce of love for you. No, he secretly gave it all to his best friend instead. That's a laugh.
Surely he didn't love you back, George.
Look at both of you. When will you realize he had nothing to offer you? I'm starting to look like the same one here. I may be tragic, but at least I know it.
Get off your high horse. I've been patronized enough tonight.
Doesn't a part of you think you deserve it?
I think I deserve the world with having to put up with you.
Go to hell and meet back with your lover.
Stop it! I can't take none of you anymore. I have known Bernie for the shortest amount of time out of any of y'all, and I know he wouldn't have wanted this.
It's not about what he wants.
Did you see the problem with that? A man that was very close to us just died. And here we are hiding our pain with our anger.
You don't know what you're talking about.
Stop treating me like a child, Margaret. I'm more of a woman than you'll ever be.
You'll never know Bernie the way the rest of us did. You don't know what it's doing to us.
I walked in on the body. He died, and I saw it. Gosh, don't you know what that does to a girl?
And you didn't tell any of us?
What?
What do you mean by that? You walked in on his corpse?
I didn't do anything, please!
I could have expected that. Faye Aldrin!
It doesn't line up. Why'd you do it, Faye?
I can't.
Spit it out!
I didn't know it was Bertie's cup. I thought it was yours. Think of your next words carefully, you foolish girl.
The night Mr. Hancock took advantage of me, I decided I wanted to do away with him. I wasn't really thinking. I just wanted this vile man gone from our lives. I could see how he was taxing Bernie, and he was just taxing me. Standing idly by as he got away with it all. I knew alcohol was your vice. I could smell it on my clothes all of dress week. It wasn't just once. It was twice, 3 times, each time getting more miserable and miserable. My mother, she didn't raise me to take nothing from no one. I saw alcohol in the dressing room. I knew it was waiting until after the show to make its appearance with you. I mixed it with some detergent. I wanted you dead. It wasn't until after that I saw Bertie. Margaret called me to leave. I've been trying to hold myself together all night, but I can't do it anymore. What are you going to do with me?
You move on, George. Hear me out. We can get rid of her, George. She killed Bernie. I can smell the brandy. You don't know a word to say. Please just let me do it. Why? Because I want to. Why? Because you wanted to kill you. Here. I almost drank that alcohol. It was the one time in my life where I practiced temperance because a better, more peculiar thought came to mind. I saw, George, that it was your favorite brand of scotch. I assumed it was a gift for you. I put poison in it as well.
Why me? Why not Bernie?
You care. You're alive, aren't you? I can touch you, I can talk to you. But if you were dead, Bernie wouldn't be able to. It was suitable revenge for ruining my art, my magnum opus, my life. What did I just say?
You said enough.
Oh, boy. Oh, damn it. Damn it. Damn it. Damn it. Damn it. Damn it. That's how you repay me for 20 years of my life. The money I spent on you, the time I indulged in you. I'm a miserable man trapped in your damn prison. I'm innocent, I tell you. Maybe not of murder, but of this vice I wanted. God, it's just one less weekend after another.
You're pathetic.
I won't look at you like that. I can't have you regret everything and get away with it all.
We're one and the same, Faye.
No, we aren't. You're deranged. I'm just young. Sit on that chair now.
Here. Take this. It's more than you deserve. What a fool am I for letting you people into my house.
You've been awfully quiet, Margaret. You're usually one to judge Colson and Faye.
Can I not just sit and listen?
You just found out who murdered your ex-husband, didn't you?
Well, maybe I'm waiting for one last confession.
As am I. You said it yourself at the beginning of the night. You're tenured. Nothing to hurt your legacy. What's to lose? What's an extra ounce of poison to the story? Who did you want to kill? Bernie. Colson. Me.
Faye, is that what you wanted to hear?
Margaret!
I was under the impression that Bernie had grown fond of you. Too fond.
Is that all?
Poison. I'm not any of you. I don't need to spin dramatic monologues or explain every meticulous detail of my plot. I gave it to you right as it is. I will say, Mr. Rotunno, you are right. I have nothing to lose. The love of my life is dead, and my career is solidified for generations.
Oh, please. You never loved him.
Is that what you get for that? She wanted to kill me!
I don't get you.
I never asked you to. That was Bernie's job. I've known you've had your fascination with our relationship for the longest time.
He never loved you.
Damn it, George, you don't have to spell it out for me!
If you loved him, after all that,
You're a child. You don't understand this world or its nature, and I don't think you ever will. I did love him, same as you. Oh, as much as you don't want to think that a single person ever loved him, don't forget who married him. I don't care that his love was fake. It was real every second I lived it.
mine was too.
Why make this about yourself?
Because it's always been about me.
Come off it, George.
I was the one who understood him the most, wasn't I? Sure, you were his wife. But we see how that turned out.
Please, George, stop being so rash.
You had your time in the spotlight and you blew it. I'm not threatened by you. I've got nothing to prove. I'm not out here begging to have a shot. I'm the opportunity people beg for. I didn't do it through Bernie. I'm George Rotunno. I can live through a scandal. Imagine what the press is going to deal with come tomorrow. You are screwed. And it feels good to say that. To weight off my shoulders. I didn't want to admit that I wanted to kill you. But I wasn't going to give you the satisfaction of thinking you were off scot-free.
Oh, so the truth comes out. It was a planned murder.
Don't patronize me! You had your reasons too. If it weren't for Bernie, well, I don't know if I can live with myself. But I hate you. I hate your house. I hate your acting. I hate your twisted version of love that sucks the very meaning from the word. He wanted you. He wanted to step away from everything. To be with you? I didn't want that. The world is complex. It's a damn stage. I'm playing my part right. And I'll make sure you never play yours again.
There. You said you wanted something stronger earlier? There are two ways you can go about this. You can pick up that gun and shoot me. Accomplish what you sought out to do. Or you could drown your pitiful wallowing in that cocaine. Don't use it all, though. I'll need some too to forget all about your incessant whining.
George!
Where'd you get him now to speak up?
Say you detest me, George. You're a laugh. You're no better than me or Margaret.
Of course I am.
In case you haven't forgotten, you killed Bernie. I don't know if you need someone to say those exact words so that they fit through your scope, but we all killed him. Which means We all wanted to kill each other.
Nobody could put down that gun, Faye.
I don't have to listen to you.
Come off it, Faye. You don't even know how to use it.
I'll manage. Everybody, sit down! You're right, Margaret. It does make me feel powerful. We're going to sit here for a while and talk. Tell us about this gun, Margaret.
Is this your attempt at making conversation?
It's something on everyone's mind.
That play. That gun was from the play The Weight of Guilt. It was our first show together. Bernie directed and I starred. I remember specifically asking the producers for him to direct the production. I remember him asking me to ask them, that is.
You had an act for that.
Don't act like that. You took time out of your night to explain how much you wanted her dead. And another thing, George. Throughout all that talk, you never once expressed guilt for murdering Bernie.
You don't think I would take it all back if I could?
Not if I had to prod it out of you. Theoretically, if you were to go back, you'd make sure it would happen twice.
I would make sure it happened to the right person.
Not that it wouldn't happen at all.
So what? There were 3 other poison in that bottle.
I'm safe to say I would take it back.
And so would I! After accusing me of loving Bernie, why do you suddenly think I wanted him dead?
I never said that. I just don't think you care who's dead, as long as Margaret gets the blame. Is that why you pointed the finger at her first? You saw it as a way to get what you wanted. Her punished. If it wasn't through poison, it'd be through a life behind bars. Admit it, George. You hate Margaret more than you loved Bernie.
You make me sound so cold. You know, for someone who's tried to orchestrate this whole trial, you're bad at reading people, Hancock. You hated Bernie before you even had this power over us.
Before he met me? I don't need you to spell it out for me. We've done enough of that tonight.
It's true, George, that I loathed him. A very astute observation, one that you had to dig for, no doubt.
Cut the pretense.
I probably knew him the longest, and without that untouchable sheen that you all regarded him with, I'm sure I am the only one here who fully understood him.
Then what's your diagnosis, Colson? Please indulge us.
I've said it before. Bernie Morrison was a creatively barren, talentless quack. It's not that hard to say.
Maybe we just don't want to speak ill of the dead.
Well, we're surely speaking ill of the living, which is worse, in my opinion. At least in death, there's a finality. For us, this will not end. Not soon, anyway. Faye has the gun. The police are surely after the killer, so is the press. Here we are, trapped, like caged animals. One of us has the key. Let's say, for the sake of this metaphor, I have it. The key is someone taking the fall while the rest go free. But who is that? I might ask.
You'd want that to be me.
Oh, just as you'd like it to be me. You wanted me
I
out of
wanted
the picture.
you- no, I-
Run!
Let's be civilized about this.
Yes, let's.
What is y'all two's problem?
You can't tell me. She wouldn't rat me out to the police the second she gets the chance.
Well, ratting out someone implies that they're guilty. In this case, you are. There's nothing morally wrong about that.
You're just as guilty as I am. You all are.
Come on, pick your poison, George.
You're pompous. You're a hack. You're a drunk. How you never broke into Broadway, I'll never understand. You don't even know how to write compelling characters. You just write yourself. Over and over and over. Or at least the version of yourself you want people to see.
That's a bit hypocritical. Only showing other people the version you want to see.
I don't care what you have to say, Margaret. It's getting purely histrionic at this point.
Watch yourself! Aren't you supposed to be stopping this kind of nonsense?
Well, Margaret, I'm taking a more passive approach to this.
Oh, when we see how well that's turned out. I liked you better when you didn't have a mouth at all. Actually, I never liked you.
Yes, Margaret, I've heard.
Call me Miss Cromwell. I will not be disrespected in my own house. You know nothing of how theater works.
What do those two have to do with each other?
Oh, more than you think. To disrespect me is to disrespect theater. Are you done now?
I'm sorry. I just had to process that complete bullshit you just spit out.
How can you laugh? You killed Bernard! Do I have to remind you of that? No. So did you.
Don't blame me for something we all had a part in.
It's human nature to want to blame each other. It's in our blood.
Will you stop fanning the fire? The phone is right over there. I can call the police right now and tell them you did it.
Oh, but you won't.
Maybe it still works.
Of course it doesn't work! I don't want the police at my house. Not if I have anything to do about it. We shall deal with this ourselves. If one of us doesn't get the blame, then another deserves to die! Let's find out who that is exactly.
You're going too far with this, Margaret.
Oh, on the contrary, I've never felt so certain of my convictions. I could just each and every one of you and find plentiful reasons to justify your murder. It's a matter of who ruined my life the most.
Why are you, of all people, the one to decide the fate of everyone here?
It's what I'm owed.
You aren't owed anything. What you lost was your own fault, and you know that.
Sounds like you're talking about yourself. All of tonight, you've tried to make it seem like Bernard loved you back. In all actuality, I'm not sure that he did. You've been lying to make it all more tragic. You over here telling me my husband never loved me when he never loved you!
Then kill me.
What?
Do it. I've got nothing to live for. No one to love. Well, don't just stand there now. You've antagonized me all night. Don't you finally feel something to know that you were right?
George,
It's not even that he's just dead. It's that I killed him! How do you suppose a man can live like that? I'm ready to leave it all behind. I held myself together all night. And for what? I knew it from the very beginning that I killed him. I kept my composure because, well, I wanted to think it wasn't me. Does it matter if the whole world poisoned that bottle? Mine was still in there. Kill me, Margaret. Let me forget.
George, I can't bring myself to do it.
Don't you see what you can do?
It cannot come from my own hands.
Then why are we all still here?
Please, Margaret.
Stop trying to reason with me. We are beyond reason. What we deal with defies it. It is purely us.
Why did you try to kill me, Margaret? Please, just tell me.
Why do you suppose he wanted you to go by Maggie?
He said he liked the name.
When going out with friends, did he introduce you as Maggie? When writing down your name in his director's notes, did he write down Maggie? When you spent the night with him, did he whisper in your ear, my Maggie?
Spent the night. I've been trying to convince you. You got the wrong idea.
And you have not been as successful as you had hoped to. I want everyone here to see this. Of all the regrets of my career, I regret letting you into my theater the most. The theater I built and paid for myself. You turned it into film.
I never touched it.
I don't care. Even if you've never touched him, you physically awakened something in him. Something I never had.
So, you're using your love of Bernie to justify this bastardization of basic
How is
morals?
it any different than what you have done? You're not above projecting. You're not above the place you spit out for critics to laud at.
Create art.
You create nothing but twisted realities you wish to live in.
I control what you do on that damn stage. I brought you a show that revived your entire career.
It brought me nothing but madness. It brought me you. From the moment I laid my eyes on you, I knew the power you possessed. Such a young face and irresistible naivety. Bernard was infatuated from that moment on as well. He asked a lot of me during our marriage. I wanted to give him all because I knew once I had nothing left to provide, he would leave me for someone else. Someone like you. You seduced him. And you took him from our home. Maybe not you at that point, but the idea of you, of some other younger girl to turn around to the press to. It was silly of me to think that you loved him, but I saw the way he looked at you. Complete infatuation. You were his muse. And where was I? The laughing stock of the theater for some time. How can I be so foolish as to think that Bernard Morrison loved me? I am much more than him, 10 times as much more than he bargained for. So, Faye, I'll kill you. It's a messy, personal, complicated murder, but I cannot have someone who took over everything so fast not slow down and see what she has done. I'll shed a tear for you, but then I'll wipe it off and smile for the crowds. Oh, how they'll love it. The curtain never closes, Miss Aldrin. It's always a performance.
Margaret?
Colson Hancock had no love for my husband. At least Bernard was happy with you.
Margaret, that's not an answer I'm willing to take.
It's the answer you deserve. Call it impulse. Call it control, or call it Bernard himself taking the gun from my hand and shooting him. I knew without a shadow of a doubt, if this gun was meant to shoot one man, it's the playwright. Chekhov's gun. Ironic, isn't it?
What happens now?
Can somebody please say something?
He came back to do the show with you. All night, that's been the missing piece.
Some mysteries I quite can't answer myself. It's the power he had over me. The power he had over the both of us.
What's gonna happen? There's gotta be something we can do to fix this. Margaret, please! The police are coming to the door! Are you really going this far into the idea that you have nothing left to lose?
Precisely, Miss Aldrin. Precisely.